Hi everyone, Jolene here from Bookworm Adventure Girl. Welcome back. To those who are new, thanks for checking out my channel. Please hit subscribe and stick around. Today is the 7th episode in the Mondays with Margaret series, and we are going to be taking a look at the poetry collection called Power Politics. This poetry collection was first published in 1971 by House of Anansi Press. And I think for me, this collection has a different feel than all of the other poetry collections that we've read so far of Margaret Atwood's. And as I've said before, I really appreciate some of the reflections and feedback that some of you have shared about the poetry that we've read. So please keep doing that. I love that I am learning a lot from doing this series, and a lot of it is because of you. If you stick around until the end, I'm going to talk about some of the things going on and what to expect in the upcoming videos for this year. So let's get started. The poems in Power Politics take on, for me, relationships, and not all of the poems have titles, but just reading some of the titles will give you the idea. So here are some of the examples. Here we go. He reappears. She considers evading him. They eat out. He is a strange biological phenomenon. Their attitudes differ. They travel by air. So for me, this first section is all about relationships between two people. There are 3 sections, and each of the sections begins with 4 lines of poetry. So the first section begins with these lines. You fit into me like a hook into an eye, a fish hook, an open eye. So I love how the last 2 lines clarify the first 2 lines and make them even more powerful. And from this section, I want to share one poem called They Eat Out. I love the imagery in this poem. In restaurants, we argue over which of us will pay for your funeral, though the real question is whether or not I will make you immortal. At the moment, only I can do it, and so I raise the magic fork over the plate of beef fried rice and plunge it into your heart. There is a faint pop, a sizzle, and through your own split head you rise up glowing. The ceiling opens. A voice sings, love is a many-splendored thing. You hang suspended above the city, in blue tights and a red cape, your eyes flashing in unison. The other diners regard you, some with awe, some only with boredom. They cannot decide if you are a new weapon or only a new advertisement. As for me, I continue eating. I liked you better the way you were, but you were always ambitious. So what I like about this one is obviously the theme of ambition, but like there's violence in this, the imagery, as I said, and also whoever would be narrating this, whoever's, writing this and speaking this, it's the role that they play in how that works. So as I said, this is between 2 people, and we play these power games all the time. So I thought that this was an interesting poem for sure. The 4 lines that begin the second section are, imperialist, keep off the trees, I said. No use, you walk backwards, admiring your footprints. Some of the poems in this section could be about government and systemic power, war, and the people who support that. And there are 3 poems in this section that I want to share. The first is on page 31. I don't think it has a title. Here we go. No, it does not have a title. We hear nothing these days from the ones in power. Why talk when you are a shoulder or a vault? Why talk when you are helmeted with numbers? Fists have many forms. A fist knows what it can do. Without the nuisance of speaking, it grabs and smashes. From those inside or under, words gush like toothpaste. Language, the fist proclaims by squeezing, is for the weak only. I love those last two verses. From those inside or under words gush like toothpaste. And then the last verse, language, the fist proclaims by squeezing is for the weak only. I think it's a pretty powerful poem. And the next one that I want to share is on page 35. This is a mistake, these arms and legs that don't work anymore. Now it's broken and no space for excuses. The earth doesn't comfort, it only covers up if you have the decency to stay quiet. The sun doesn't forgive, it looks and keeps going. Night seeps into us through the accidents we have inflicted on each other. Next time we commit love, we ought to choose in advance what to kill. That last verse again. Next time we commit love, we ought to choose in advance what to kill. I just think that those words are very powerful. And then the last one that I want to share from this section is on page 37. It's called They Are Hostile Nations. In view of the fading animals, the proliferation of sewers and fears, the sea clogging, the air nearing extinction, we should be kind. We should take warning. We should forgive each other. Instead, we are opposite. We touch as though attacking. The gifts we bring, even in good faith, may be warp in our hands to implements, to maneuvers. Put down the target of me, you guard inside your binoculars. In turn, I will surrender this aerial photograph, your vulnerable sections marked in red, I have found so useful. See, we are alone in the dormant field, the snow that cannot be eaten or captured. Here there are no armies. Here there is no money. It is cold and getting colder. We need each other's breathing, warmth. Surviving is the only war we can afford. Stay, walking with me. There is almost time. If we can only make it as far as the possibly last summer. So what I like about this poem is, as we've seen in Margaret Atwood's other poetry, is that she uses nature and she talks about the environment. And in this one, I think that becomes very clear that we're doing the opposite of what we should be doing. We were doing it in 1971 and we're still doing it now. The last section begins with these 4 lines. Returning from the dead used to be something I did well. I began asking why. I began forgetting how. So for me, this section of poems is kind of like the aftermath of all of this playing games with power and politics. So the first, I want to share 2 poems, and the first one is on page 47. It doesn't have a title. You are the sun in reverse. All energy flows into you and is abolished. You refuse houses. You smell of catastrophe. I see you blind and one-handed, flashing in the dark. Trees breaking under your feet. You demand. You demand. I lie mutilated beside you. Beneath us there are sirens, fires, the people run squealing. The city is crushed and gutted. The ends of your fingers bleed from 1,000 murders. Putting on my clothes again, retreating, closing doors. I am amazed I can continue to think, eat, anything. How can I stop you? Why did I create you? I like that idea of being amazed and being able to continue to think, to eat, to do anything, like we return to normal life after war, and it's not always that easy. The last one that I want to share with you is on page 54. It also does not have a title. I can't tell you my name. You don't believe I have one. I can't warn you this boat is falling. You planned it that way. You've never had a face, but you know that appeals to me. You are old enough to be my skeleton. You know that also. I can't tell you I don't want you. The sea is on your side. You have the earth's nets. I have only a pair of scissors. When I look for you, I find water or moving shadow. There is no way I can lose you when you are lost already. My favorite line in this poem, and maybe even in the whole collection, is, "You have the earth's nets, I have only a pair of scissors." And what I love about those lines is just that that overwhelming experience of, you know, feeling trapped, feeling like, you know, the other person has control, and you can help yourself maybe a little bit with those scissors, but in the end it's not going to be enough, because everything else is so overwhelming that you're always going to stay trapped. That's the feeling that I got from it anyway, so maybe you have some other ideas. I would be happy to hear what you have to say about it. So I wanted to take a moment to give you guys a heads up about what to expect for the rest of this year. Today we found out in Ontario that our entire province is going into lockdown on Boxing Day, which is December 26th for those who don't have Boxing Day. It looks like after the Christmas break I will be working from home, and I know that this news is difficult for many people. It means, you know, more time away from family and feeling isolated, and I know that for some it means a loss in pay, and it causes a lot of stress. And one of the things that has helped me this year during the pandemic is being able to connect with so many readers and book lovers and you guys. So I thought while I had some extra time, I would try and do a couple of bonus videos. So right now I post every Monday and Friday. Mondays are obviously Mondays with Margaret, and on Fridays I try to talk about like what I'm reading or what I'm looking forward to reading. And I'm going to start this week by adding a video on Wednesday. Lady Jane Books has tagged me in a video. So I will do that tag video before Christmas, since it is a festive one. And then of course Christmas Day is Friday. So my hope is to give you all a list of some of the books that I'm really looking forward to that are going to be published in January. So Monday will be our last Mondays with Margaret, and for the 2020, we'll continue into the new year. And then next Friday is already New Year's Day, so I will be doing my top 20 books of 2020. But if there's something extra that you would like to see, or if you have questions for me or anything like that, please let me know in the comments below, and I will see if I can sneak it in over the next month or so before I hopefully go back to work. Please let me know what you thought of Power Politics, if there were any poems that you really liked, or let me know how you are doing during this pandemic, what is happening where you live. And as I said, let me know if there is anything specific that you would like to see in a video from me, and I will make sure that I make that happen. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and don't forget to make every day an adventure.